Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now starting off of course with the car sitting here behind me, or the vehicle depending on what you want to call it. This is the HVY Menacer. This thing is discounted by 40% off this week, down from 1,775,000 to just under 1.1 million. It's an armed 4-seater, really cool military vehicle. Now it's not the best military vehicle of all time, but being that it's discounted, it is a pretty good one, and I definitely think it's one you guys should pick up this week. It's got some nice customization, it's all-wheel drive, it's pretty cool overall, and it does have a lot of really nice livery options and camouflages and stuff for it. Definitely a cool car, definitely one that I would recommend looking into for sure this week while it is discounted. Now, before we talk about anything else, we have to talk about how to make some money this week in Grand Theft Auto Online, and we have a pretty good week on our hands. In fact, I might even say one of the very best weeks that we've gotten this year, in my opinion. So, what is going on this week? Well, we have double money and double RP on biker business sale missions, so, Coke, counterfeit cash, the other ones that I'm probably not going to name because it might get the video demonetized. But all of them are on double money and double RP for the sale missions. And the biker bar that is found within the MC Clubhouse is also paying double this week as well, which is pretty cool. But not only this, we also have double speed on the biker business production. So it's going to make product twice as fast and be twice as valuable. So in a way, this is almost like a 4 times week on the biker businesses, which is pretty crazy. Now they're not paying 4 times money, but you're going to get twice as much money, twice as fast, which in my opinion, that's almost 4 times. I don't know. I don't really know how math works, but that type of thing. And of course, we also have double money on sales to the street dealers that are found around the streets of Los Santos, which is a nice way to sell your MC businesses and still make a decent amount of money. Being that they're paying double money this week, that is pretty darn good. You kind of really can't go wrong with it. Now we also do have one more amazing opportunity to make money this week, guys, and that is on the Hasta La Vista adversary mode. Nobody cares. So anyways, MC businesses, definitely the way to go this week. That is how you guys can make a ton of money. Now we also have some pretty crazy discounts. As I stated, the Menacer sitting here, behind me, that's a pretty good discount for the week, but we have some more. So we're going to go over the discounts super quick before we go to the casino and the car meet and go to all the dealerships and see all the removed vehicles that are available this week. We got to talk about what's discounted first. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off on the foreclosures website, you will find that MC Club houses are discounted this week, and they are 30% off plus all upgrades and renovations. Now, if you're looking to know where to get an MC Clubhouse, I would definitely recommend getting one that's central or that's close to the rest of your businesses. For example, I rock the Pillbox Hill Clubhouse. I think it's the best. But if you guys are interested, I will have an MC business guide coming out tomorrow, so make sure you guys are checking that out, and subscribe to my channel if you guys are new, or even if you watch all the time, to make sure that you get a notification for that. So anyway, stay tuned for the MC business guide. It's coming. But yeah, the clubhouse isn't super duper important. Now, when you are purchasing one of these, the only thing that I would recommend or even really consider upgrading is the custom bike shop, because it kind of works very similarly to the auto shop customer deliveries, where you will get customer bikes, which you can then go and customize and deliver to customers for some money. And usually you make between 40 and 50K in profit, and it will cost you $10,000 to do it in the first place. But I would say generally it is kind of worth it, especially if you're a little bit of a newer player. This can be a good way to make money. Now, if you're a very veteran seasoned player, you're probably not going to need this, because that type of money is just not really something that's super worth doing for you. But yeah, as far as the location goes, I would say somewhere in the city is good. However, if you want to go for a cheaper one, this one right here is very central, the Great Chaparral Clubhouse. So that is another good option, but I personally like to have this one right here because a lot of my other businesses are, right along this sort of route right here. So that's where I choose to have mine, and that's what I would recommend to you too. But obviously it depends where your businesses are. Maybe this one will work better for you. You never know. So anyways, starting off on the Benny's website, you will find that the Progen Italy GTB is discounted by 30% off this week. Now, this thing is a supercar, and it can be upgraded into the GTB Custom, which does allow for some additional customization options. Not the best car ever, however, far from the worst. It does have pretty good It does have pretty good performance, it is all-wheel drive, and the customization is pretty nice for it, even as a stock vehicle, but definitely as a Benny's vehicle, things get a little bit better. It's a pretty cool car, not the fastest, not the slowest. For 830K, it's kind of hard to go wrong with it, but at the same time, your money could definitely be spent better elsewhere, so just stay tuned. This isn't the worst thing to purchase this week though, so if you do want it, don't worry, still should probably buy it this week. Next up on Legendary Motorsport, the Pfister Astron is discounted this week by 40% off, which is a pretty good discount. This is one of the faster SUVs in the game, albeit not the fastest. The customization is really nice. Overall, it handles pretty nicely, it has good acceleration, and a decent top speed. Like I said, customization is pretty good. For 948 grand, it's not the worst thing you can buy this week again, but it's not the best either, so just stay tuned before you make any big decisions. Also on Legendary Motorsport, we have some bikes discounted, of course, being that it is MC week. Starting off with the Western Power Surge, this is arguably one of the very fastest bikes in the game because of a speed glitch that it does possess. It is also a fully electric motorcycle, and with the wheelie, you can go super fast. It is a crazy fast bike, and the speed glitch does work on all platforms as far as I know. It's definitely a cool bike, and for 963,000, this is definitely something that I would be looking into picking up this week. However, additionally, we also have the Shinobi discounted by 40% off, and this bike is expensive to begin with, so for getting it for, just under $1 million off, you kind of can't go wrong with it, and it is actually one of the very fastest bikes in the game. Now, the only things that'll really beat this thing on track are like the Hakuchu drag with HSW, and maybe the Power Surge, depending on how long the track is and how many straightaways there are, because the Shinobi gets a lot of its speed from the corners. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not slow in a straight line either, but it is just exceptionally good in the corners, similar to the Nagasaki Shotaro, if you guys are familiar with that. So either of these bikes are purchasable this week. For sure, I would say I do recommend them both if you have the money to do so, but I would say you're going to get more bang for your buck out of the Power Surge, especially considering that it's way cheaper than the Shinobi to begin with. So Power Surge, yes. Shinobi, maybe. Then we also have the Dinka Vindicator. For 378k, I would not really recommend this thing at all, especially considering that for, only another, $600,000-ish, you can get the Power Surge. I would say avoid the Vindicator, and it's not really that good looking of a bike either in my opinion, so I would definitely say to go for the Power Surge over this thing, and do not buy the Vindicator. Here on Warstock Cash and Carry, the Meibatsu Manchester Scout is discounted this week by 40% off, which is a pretty good discount. It's a bike that's a lot of fun, and you do get a really good wheelie with it. However, you do also get access to one of these for having the Acid Lab for free, so keep that in mind for sure, but it is still a pretty good bike. You kind of can't go wrong with purchasing it, but if you've already got an Acid Lab, that means you already have a bike that is basically identical to this one. As I stated right at the beginning of the video, the Menacer is discounted, going for just $1,065,000. Not a bad price. This is definitely one that I would recommend looking into a lot. It is a very cool vehicle. Now, I do tend to be quite negative towards the Menacer, and I just want to clarify this. For $1 million, you can't go wrong with buying a Menacer. However, for its full price, you can definitely go wrong with buying a Menacer, because things like the Insurgent Pickup Custom exist, as well as the Night Shark, which are both cheaper and almost better alternatives to it. But for $1 million, you kind of can't go wrong with the Menacer, so I would definitely say get one this week while it's on sale. Do not buy one at full price. Over here on Southern San Andreas Super Autos, we have the Bravado Dorado discounted this week by 30% off. Overall, not really a good vehicle, and I wouldn't recommend picking it up, honestly. It's just not that great, and for, almost $1 million, there's a lot of things you could get this week, especially that are way better, like the Power Surge, for example. Now, we also have the Karen Sultan Classic discounted this week as well. This is one that I would say is more worth buying. Now, it is a little more expensive, but if you have the trade price, it can be pretty cheap. For 773 grand, you can't go wrong. For just over $1 mil, I think you kind of can go wrong. It's got some nice customization, good performance overall, and it's a decent little four-door sports car, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that special beyond customization and just the overall look of the vehicle. This is one that I'm not really sure whether to say to buy or to avoid. You're gonna have to make that decision yourself. It does have pretty decent performance, the customization's nice. Beyond that, I can't really say much. And of course, under the motorcycle section on Southern, we have the Western Nightblade, the Nagasaki Chimera, and the Shih Tzu Defiler, all discounted this week. The Nightblade is not one that you can go wrong with because it's only $60,000. The Chimera, I do think you can kind of go wrong with because it's a trike, and the Shih Tzu Defiler is kind of interesting, but it's kind of really ugly looking too. It does drive pretty nicely. This one for, you know, 185 or 250, not the worst purchase ever, but you can definitely get some better stuff this week, like, for example, the Power Surge or the Shinobi that we saw in Legendary Motorsport. Okay, so that's it for the discounts on the websites. Now it's time to go to the casino and the car meet, as well as the dealerships, and talk about those vehicles. Within the casino this week, we have the Lampadati Komoda available to be won. This thing's pretty awesome. It's a sports car, it is a 4-door, and it sounds absolutely amazing. In fact, it shares the same exhaust sound as the Ocelot Jugular and the Ocelot XA21, which is pretty sweet. It's got some nice customization, it's a good looking car, it's fun to drive, it handles well. You can't really go wrong with trying to win it this week. Within the car meet, the Enos Jubilee is available to be won this week with a relatively easy challenge, top 3 for 4 days in a row. Not very hard, and it is an Amani Tech capable SUV that is one of the faster SUVs in GTA Online. On top of this, it's also got some nice customization, the performance is pretty good, handles well, accelerates good, is all-wheel drive of course. It's based off the Rolls-Royce Cullinan in real life as well, which is pretty cool. Overall, this is one that I would say you should definitely try to win. Within the car meet, these are the vehicles available this week, all 3 of which are removed. On the left, we have the Lampadati Furore GT going for $440,000 if I do remember correctly, $448. So not a terrible price. It is a very unique vehicle. It is quite rare now that it's removed. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. It is one that I would say I do recommend purchasing. I might be a little personally biased there, but I do think it is a pretty cool car. But unfortunately, it has absolutely zero customization. So in fact, I actually don't think I recommend the vehicle. In the middle, we have the Vapid Peyote Gasser. This thing is meant to go in a straight line, and that's about it. Not much in the way of customization. It's got a few little things you could do to it here and there. For $805,000, this is one that I would not recommend purchasing. It's just simply not good enough to justify that price tag. And last but not least, we have the Lampadati Michele GT. Very, very cool looking car, some nice customization, and this thing is discounted this week for $857,500, which is really expensive for what you're getting. I do have a full review out on my channel of this car in case you guys are interested and want to know more about it, but I would say it's probably not worth it, even discounted. Within Simeon's dealership, starting off in the corner, we have the Ocelot Locust. This is one of my favorite removed vehicles in GTA Online. It is so much fun to drive, and it goes for just over $1.6 million. This is one that I would say I do recommend because it is so much fun to drive. It doesn't really do anything beyond that for you though, so keep that in mind. If you do want a really good, light, nice handling car, this is the car for you, and of course it is removed, so it does have a little bit of exclusivity to it, which is kind of nice. The Locust is really fun, it's one that I do recommend. Next up here we have the Ubermacht Zion Classic. This thing is pretty interesting, it's got some really nice customization. It's not the greatest car ever though, so it is one that I would be a little bit weary about buying. Now it is $812,000, and for that price that's kind of a lot. It is a really cool car, it's got nice customization. The performance is pretty okay. I mean, it's an older car, but it still does pretty okay. For $800,000, I'd say I do kind of recommend it, but make sure you buy some of the other stuff that's available this week before you buy this. Next up, we have the Volkart Fageloa. This thing goes for, if I remember, $358. Interesting. $358,000. For that price, this is actually one of the more unique cars in GTA, and it's also got some really nice customization. So if you're looking for an older car to customize, this is definitely one that I would recommend. It's got some pretty cool stuff that you can do to it. For 350 grand, you kind of can't really mess up by buying it. It's a pretty good vehicle. The customization alone makes it worth it. Now, it's not fast in any way, shape, or form, but it is still a cool vehicle. I would say this is one I would recommend to buy this week. Only if you're looking for an older car to customize though. If you're looking for performance, look elsewhere. Next up, we have the LCC Innovation right here. This thing is going for $92,500. You can't go wrong with it at that price, honestly. Pretty cool bike. Next up, we have the Western Zombie Bobber. This thing is going for $125,000, and it is removed. This is one that I would say you could pick up, and you probably won't regret it. It's a pretty cool vehicle, and same with the Innovation there. They're both pretty sweet motorcycles. Now, Rockstar might have heard something from me. They've put a vehicle from not the most recent DLC, but the second most recent DLC in Luxury Autos, in, of course, the Gradi Turismo Omaggio. So things are maybe slightly improving, but of course they did put the D1, which is one of the newest vehicles in GTA Online, in here. So Maybe they haven't fully learned, but maybe they're starting to. That would be really cool to see. Now, oddly enough, I just realized that the Fister Astron is also purchasable this week and discounted, which is quite strange. But the Fister Astron is also available to be stolen through the Chop Shop, which is kind of interesting. Now, if you want to steal it, you're going to have to complete the Gangbanger robbery. If you want to get the Casco, you're going to need to complete the Podium robbery. And if you want the Vapid Ellie, you will need to complete the Cargo Ship robbery. Alright guys, and last but not least, we got the time trials here for you guys. We got Cypress Flats for the RC Bandito time trial. We have Mirror Park for the Junk Energy time trial. For your regular time trial, we have Great Ocean Highway, and for your HSW time trial, it's down here, and it is Textile City to Stab City right up here. Anyway guys, there you have it. That has been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. If you guys enjoyed the video, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike. Consider subscribing to my channel if you guys are new, or if you're a returning viewer. A lot of you guys are returning viewers and you don't subscribe for some reason, and I'm trying to grow my channel, so if you want to help me out, that would be really, really cool. Also, stay tuned for tomorrow because I will have a full MC business guide dropping on my channel, so make sure you guys do check that out. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.